This also goes for every Trinbagonian who gone to live in a foreign land. Now is the time to come home and do something instead of staying out there and freezing. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us go hand in hand, because this is our land.
So let us walk hand in hand, because this is our land. So come my brother, come my sister, and let us build Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique together. I want to welcome you to the Dynamic Hour, and specifically this segment where I will lay a solid foundation for reasoning, for meaningful engagement, not just on the bus or on the block, but in your workplaces, on the breakfast table or around the breakfast table, the lunch table, the dinner table. That is what I am seeking to foster, having you discuss the real issues concerning Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. This morning again, I want to have you and I compare or look at what is taking place in the Grenadines, because not only Carriacou and Petite Martinique that was directly impacted by Hurricane Beryl, but the rest of the Grenadines, mainly Union Island, and I think Canawan, Bequia, that kind of thing. But Union Island is the main island in the Grenadines that was affected. I'm saying some people want you to believe that it was only Carriacou, it was only Petite Martinique, and that's it. But Union Island was affected, and they are still way behind in terms of recovery. So we need to compare, we need to look at what is happening next door. And let's look at Carriacou and Petite Martinique. And then you would get a picture as to the amount of work that the NDC administration, that the Honorable Tevin Andrews and his team did so far and continue to do. That's important. Very important, because the NNP is out there trying to mislead the public, to say to the public, well, nothing much is happening. But the evidence is there to show that a lot has happened from Beryl to now. All right, the day after Beryl, 2 days, 3 days after Beryl, a lot has happened. But let's look at St. Vincent first, and then we can talk. The Grenadines, Union Island.
The Recovery and Rebuilding Initiative on Union Island is continuing, with several people and government entities playing their part in the process. The Agency for Public Information recently visited the southern Grenadine Island, where Dr. Idilia Ferdinand of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, gave an update on the government's housing initiative.
The rebuilding process has picked up pace for 2025. We are presently working on over 40 houses in Clifton, and the team in Ashton have completed about 60-something houses, and they are working on others both in Clifton and Ashton. In addition to that, the HLDC has started the construction from ground up of homes that were completely destroyed, and work is ongoing on government buildings, businesses, and so on in Union Island. Presently, we also have the support of the Guyana Defense Force soldiers. 8 of them have been on island for the last 2 weeks, looking at how they can provide support. And the larger contingent will join today, which is about 32. So in all, the team would be about 40 persons. They are earmarked to provide assistance in terms of electrical, plumbing, installation of windows and doors, in addition to assistance with roof.
How important is Guyana's intervention in the rebuilding process?
It's very important to get the support of our neighbors as part of our CARICOM mechanism.
So Dr. Ferdinand, can you give us an idea of how many homes, government buildings and private businesses have been completed so far?
Work is ongoing on most of the government buildings, the schools, the hospital, the clinic. They are close to completion, but there are minor things like painting, a little bit of electrical here and there, and some plumbing.
Right. So I'll stop it there for a moment. So you heard Dr. Ferdinand. She's explaining the situation in Union Island. This video was posted on the government site in St. Vincent yesterday because they had this welcome ceremony for the Guyana Defense Force team who on island to help with the rebuilding process. But you heard from the official from NEMO. She's saying government buildings, they're still working on many of the government buildings to bring them back to where they were. In Carriacou, they already completed work on 99% of government buildings. People have access to those buildings in Carriacou and PT Martinique, right? 99%. Then she spoke about schools. All the schools are back up and running except one, the Dover Government School, in terms of construction. Excuse me. So they have renovated, reconditioned, upgraded, repaired all the other schools. All right? All the other schools. Schools in Carriacou and PT Martinique, they reopened 3 months after the hurricane. In Union Island and so on, they still stuck. All right? Still stuck. Still fighting to get the children from St. Vincent, the mainland, because many of them went to the mainland, back to Carriacou to continue with, the schooling and so on. In Carriacou, it's a different ball game. Back to normal. They repaired the schools. They make sure that furniture is in those schools and things are back to normal for the students in terms of the structure, in terms of, making sure that the environment is conducive for learning in Carriacou. She spoke about the clinics. They're trying to fix their clinics and so on and get it back up and running. In Carriacou, the clinics, they're all open and functioning except about 2, right? Except about 2 that they're working on still. But the majority of clinics are up and running or ready to reopen, hand over, do a formal thing and hand it over. The one in Wynwood and so on, right? Spoke about the police station. The police station in Carriacou, refurbished, fixed, functioning, brand new. The courthouse, functioning, brand new. I mean, we can go on and on and on. The businesses you have in terms of guest houses and hotels, they have about 263 rooms or so on Carriacou. 148 is back up and running, renovated, upgraded. Some of the guest houses, they're back to where they were, even better. 20 restaurants back up and running. So work for the people of Carriacou and PT Martinique is essential, and we are seeing that they're back to work. Because if you have the restaurants functioning, up and running, then you have people working. The guest houses, same thing, then you have people working. Most of the supermarkets are back up and running, then you have people working. That's important. Very, very important. Then she spoke about houses that they are working on in Union Island. It's about, I think, 200 or so houses. But in Carriacou, we have 100 and almost 150 houses, right? There are some completed, some they're working on still, and more coming. So we have to understand. And then you have $30 million spent on building materials for people to repair their roofs, fix their roofs, the roof. So besides houses being built, there are some houses, they lost their roof. And the government provided materials for them to fix that roof in the sum of $30 million. And then for the businesses, small, medium-sized, large businesses affected by Hurricane Beryl, they could go to the GDB, the Grenada Development Bank, and access loans and grant aid, because the government placed $25 million there. $25 million there, so that they can access that that financing to get back on their feet again. Then we have Brisk, where, you know, support was given to families, you know, the head of the household and so on, with financial support to keep them going for some couple months. Well, then you have the direct financing that was given to fishers, right? Boat owners, people working on the fishing boats, and so on. Then farmers, those in livestock, those in animal husbandry, and we can go on and on. They have been given assistance in Carriacou, in Petit Martinique. So a lot has happened for the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. But just looking at Union Island, because it was not only Carriacou and Petit Martinique that was affected. The NNP, they would want you to believe that. They want you to believe that it's only Carriacou and Petit Martinique, and things are so bad in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, which is a damn lie from the pit of hell. All right, things are getting really, better in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Look at Project Pristine in Carriacou, where you had people swimming on Paradise Beach, swimming in the water and removing the galvanized, removing the debris. Then all the debris in Carriacou and Petit Martinique and so on, the government got new equipment through solid waste and so on. New equipment cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think one of them was millions of dollars to get rid of all the debris there, pack them and send them out, to get them out of Carriacou. This is significant.
So the government buildings are close to completion, most of them. Work has been completed on just over 200 houses, and a number of businesses are progressing with the reconstruction. I don't have the definite figures for businesses. Some of those persons are doing the work on their own, and some are getting support of materials from the state and the other donor agencies.
In the meantime, government continues to pay the rent and bills for persons affected, placed out of their homes by the impact of the storm.
Yes, there are still quite a number of persons, a couple hundred, who are on the mainland being supported in terms of rent. We are trying our best to see how we could work with those persons to get their homes completed so that they can be back on island. And we are really trying to look at those persons who have students attending the schools, because we are trying to coordinate with the reopening of schools and persons being back in their homes, and the children can move back to the schools on island. And I can say the work on the schools are progressing very well. The school in Clifton, the Stephanie Brown Primary School, is almost completed, and the The Guyanese soldiers, they will assist with finalizing that work, and they will work closely with Braxa in getting that done. And the other school, the other primary school, that is close to completion as well.
And the feeding program continues on the island?
Yes, the state continue to support the operation of 2 community kitchens, one in Ashton and the other in Clifton. They provide meals for the shut-ins, for the schools, and for the construction workers on the various different sites across the island. In addition to many other persons, for example, we do have persons who would come down from the mainland to provide support, government workers and other persons, and the kitchen would provide meals for them as well.
Okay, and Ms. Ferdinand, can you remind persons of the registration process if they may have issues?
So for the burial rebuild, we have what is called a burial assistance form. That's mainly for housing assistance, and persons can come to the office, the NEMO office in Union Island in Clifton. The office has now relocated from the Tobago Keys Marine Park, and it's now upstairs of the tourism building, and they can get an application, complete the application. We'll work with them in terms of how the form is to be completed. Once that is done, the assessors will go out to visit the home and look at the estimates that were provided, or we will assist with getting a contractor to look at the estimates. Most of what we are doing now is through contractors, because what we found is that persons were collecting materials and the work was not getting done because they were having problems finding workmen. And so we work with the contractors to get the work done so that persons can get that level of support.
My name is Doolin Woodruff, Sergeant Doolin Woodruff. I'm from Guyana. We arrived in St. Vincent on Tuesday the 12th. So,
what is your skill set?
my skill set in carpentry and mason.
Okay, so you already went around and see what you all be working on?
Yeah, we visit a couple sites. So we'll be working on some houses and one of the police station.
Okay, and did you go to Carriacou during after burial? Did you work in Carriacou after burial?
Yeah, we arrived in Carriacou 4 days after burial.
And how would you compare the destruction in Carriacou to the destruction you see on Union Island?
Well, we was just arriving in Carriacou after the hurricane burial, so far the destruction over there was very devastated. So to me it was more than over here.
Okay. And
right, so it was more in Carriacou. The devastation was more than in Union Island, and the Grenadines. So you heard it there from the sergeant. He was in Carriacou 4 days after the passage of Hurricane Beryl. Now he's in Union Island, and he's saying that the devastation in Carriacou was way more. But look at the amount of work that MP Tevin Andrews and the team did in Carriacou. So you're hearing Nolan Cox talking and saying stuff. You're hearing NNP talking and saying stuff because you see the NNP they love confusion, they love negativity, they love the bad things. That is what they want. They want bad things to befall Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And they are not positive. So good things are happening and they will not commend it. They will not applaud it. They will not highlight it. But when it comes to spreading lies, when it comes to misinforming their supporters and whoever, the unsuspected or unsuspecting, they love that. People who are not informed, they would go there and throw out all those lies. But look at Union Island. Look at next door. You heard it yourself. Nobody has to tell you. They are making strides. They are trying to recover. But Carriacou is way more advanced in terms of recovery than Union Island and the other Grenadine Islands. The amount of work that they put in, they clean Carriacou and PT Martinique, off all the debris and all those different things, and that, there's no dump in Carriacou with all the debris and those kind of stuff. They get that out of Carriacou. And they continue to do some more work there. All right? Folks, don't believe the NNP. And I'm saying this thing point blank. Don't believe them. They lie. They misinform the public on nearly everything. But the folks in Carriacou, if you're listening to me, if you're hearing me, and you want to call and maybe add something to it, you can. But only the folks in Carriacou. Or if you've been to Carriacou. All right? Because there are a lot of people here in Grenada who never set foot in Carriacou. They don't know how Carriacou looks. They don't. Or PT Martinique. So if you are in Carriacou, if you live in Carriacou, you're in PT Martinique and you want to call me, you can, and I can bring you live. The number is 415-4817, 415-4817, or 403-1019, 403-1019, or 415-4817, 415-4817. So if you want to call, you can, because maybe I miss out something. Maybe I looked at Carriacou and I didn't mention this or mention that. All right? So if you want to call, you can. You're free, but you have to be from Carriacou and PT Martinique. Or maybe you've been to Carriacou and PT Martinique. So you see for yourself the situation there. Because the NNP is out there spreading a lot of lies, a lot of misinformation. Because that is what they are accustomed to. And they believe if they can do that, then maybe people are going to believe them, people are going to fall for it, and they would regain that seat. Because remember, the NNP had that seat for a long time, Some people underestimate the work Tevin Andrews did to get that seat, Hello? Yeah,
Good morning.
morning. How are you doing? My Bluetooth is giving some problems, so I have to take you through that means. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I think I'm the fittest person to talk about character because, I've been in character for the last 3 years. I've been coming here.
Right. So we are speaking to Dr. Linton Andrews.
Yes, sir.
Right. Nice.
Dr. Pett.
Right, Dr. Pett. Oh, yes. You work in Carriacou, yes.
Yeah. And I could attest to that Carriacou. There are a lot of transformation in Carriacou. Because I came up here 3 days after Beryl. Remember, I was here the Friday and Beryl came the Monday. I went down the Friday afternoon and Beryl came Carriacou the Monday. And I came back 3 days with the vet. All of us came back to Carriacou and see, we could service some of the animals that were sick, When we came up here in Carriacou, there were animals everywhere, stench everywhere came, everywhere. When I came up here in Carriacou, I'm from Carriacou, I'm from Dover. And I cried because I had tears run from my eye right. You cannot get tears from my eyes very easily. And the water was just pouring down. When I see my island, how Carriacou became, the place was devastated. We couldn't pass nowhere. You have to dive up. Everything was on the ground, galvanized. Almost all the houses were being destroyed, especially the good houses. Even the wall houses were being destroyed. Everything. And people are just, people have to go down to Abigail, close to the yacht. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we're hearing you loud and clear.
So people have to be going down to Abigail, close to the yacht to get signal, to get a phone call. The Maritime Force step in immediately to Maritime to get water in Hillsborough. And it was a total chaos and disaster. But however, the people was able to override this. You understand? People started bringing food and, Carriacou, everybody was happy. There's nothing about politics. There was nothing about whether you're NNP or whether you're NDC. People need to look at that. Everybody was being fed camp. Clothes, shelter, clothing, and water. The process was a bit slow in the initial stage, but things started catching up. All of people complain about container houses. There was no houses, you didn't have any, and you got one, whether it's container, whether it's square, whether it's wrong. The fact about it, when I one time government got $40 million in Grenada, they didn't build back their houses. However, in Carriacou, the money they got, they build back houses, they build back some of the schools, they repair the revenue office, post office, hospital, polyclinic. I mean, they complain about the money. That money cannot do anything much. But with the little they had, Kevin, they did a lot. And if you see Carriacou now, when I came to Carriacou, Carriacou was brown. Brown. It was totally destroyed. And now, if you come to Carriacou and you see Carriacou, man, it's unbelievable. You know, they should give kudos to the government, kudos to the different administration for doing, and for Kevin in particular, for doing a tremendous job. Carriacou is real nice now. I could pass to the street, look, I'm now I'm in Kim Plaza. Everything destroyed. Every single place was destroyed. I was coming up, going back the same day just to take care of the animals, you know. And there was nothing in Carriacou. But at the same time, a few days after, we started getting a lot of food and we started getting material to start box up the houses. So if we're talking about Carriacou, I could attest that Carriacou is a disaster. Now Carriacou is on top. We're in rate recovery, not 100%, but there are a lot of good things that the government have done to Carriacou and Petit Martinique. You understand, Ken?
All right.
So that is my testimony of Carriacou.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Pitt there. Yes, he works in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. He is a veterinarian there, veterinarian surgeon and so on. So he's always in Carriacou. All right. So if you have anybody out there in Carriacou, in Petit Martinique, who want to call, and maybe you've been there, maybe you're from Grenada, but you've been to Carriacou, you've been to Petit Martinique, and you see for yourself. Or if you're living in Carriacou, you're living in Petit Martinique, you can call me, The number is 415-4817. 415-4817. Or you can call me on 403-1019. You're free to call me. Maybe I left out something. Maybe I spoke about something that you want to clarify, or maybe you want to say something. All right? You're free to do that. But you have to be from Carriacou, from Petit Martinique. All right? The Bluetooth giving a little problem here this morning, but I would still bring you live. I would still get you live so people can hear. Because that's important. Because the NNP is out there saying all kinds of stuff. And that is what the NNP is all about. Confusion, bacchanal, melee, lies, misinformation. And they have platforms to do that, to spread those lies, to misinform the public. They have so many mediums to do it. And you ask them, what have you done to help the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique? Every time you hear Nolan Cox, he speaks about his mother's house. Okay, that's good. But what's about the broader community? What's about the other people, right? So you're saying to me that the NNP can't do anything in opposition to help anybody, anywhere? You remember they talk about brigade and brigade? Where's the brigade and brigade? That's the question. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Kim. Good morning, and how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I'm very well, thank you. I live outside the playing field in Hillsborough. And during the hurricane, we had all sorts of debris. You would have heard how they took out the playing field, and it was high. We couldn't see anyway. Now it's cleared. So all the galvanized, all the wood has been removed, and they are about to resurface the grounds.
That's the Hillsborough playing field.
Hillsborough playing field.
That's the one that the NNP was making a big fuss about this.
Right, but now it's cleared, waiting to be resurfaced. Now they've almost killed me with dust from over there, but I'm recovering. So soon I hope by the end of April it will be sorted out and the children will be able to go back there. I don't know how long it will take, but there are no more debris there. They're cleaning it up now. It's clean.
Oh, beautiful.
So that's one beautiful spot. And they're working on the other places. But Carriacou is beautiful at the moment in comparison to what we've had 8-9 months ago.
Oh, nice. Thank you
So
very much.
those who are saying that nothing is happening in Carriacou, Bel Air has a beautiful road and is continuing, and there are lots of beautiful roads in Carriacou and solar lights. So there's a lot happening in Carriacou.
Nice.
So those who say nothing is happening, they want to open their eyes.
Okay.
Plenty to be done. There's plenty still to happen, but where we've been and where we are now, we've come a long way.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Have a blessed day.
Same to you. Nice. Thank you very much there. Yes. So the people of Carriacou. So you can call me if you live in Carriacou or you live in PT Martinique and you want to chime in, you can. The number is 415-4817 or 403-1019. 403-1019 or 415-4817. Yes, I was talking about the NNP brigade because remember, they talk about this brigade, cleanup brigade, building brigade, all kind of brigade. But up to now, it was just a whoosh. It was just to make a statement, a political statement, and then they just disappear. That is what they did. But kitchen, you remember about some kitchen and wheels, a kitchen and something? It was just a whoosh. 2 days, 3 days, and you hear nothing about them after that. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. They're not about Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. They don't want good for this place. They want bad things to happen. So they will be relevant. And they're praying for it. And in some instances, they will try to create the bad things. That's how dangerous some of them could be. But I am saying the amount of work. I've been to Carriacou, so I can tell you, Carriacou is getting back to where it was, step by step by step. But a lot has happened in Carriacou since, in terms of the recovery, in terms of rebuilding and building back better and bouncing back. But I'm happy we are able to compare, to look at Union Island, look at the other Grenadine Islands, and look at Carriacou and PT Martinique. So don't believe that everything could be done overnight, because what we're coming on to, we're in March. So in the next couple of months, right, it will be 1 year. And I'm saying that Union Island, look, they just start doing some of the major work there. The Guyanese Defense Force, they just go in there to assist them and so on. They've been to Carriacou already and gone. So again, if you are in Carriacou, and don't be afraid to call. Don't be afraid to call me and tell us about Carriacou, what you're seeing, how you feel. We still have 17 more minutes in the program for this morning. So if you're listening and you want to say something about Carriacou and PT Martinique, but you should be from Carriacou and PT Martinique or visited Carriacou and PT Martinique. There are a lot of people talking and saying things, but they don't live in Carriacou. They don't live in PT Martinique. They never step foot in Carriacou. They never step foot in PT Martinique. All right? So you could give me a buzz. Still some time. 16 minutes left in the program for you to call and tell me. Maybe I miss out something. I know the police station that was totally renovated, fully completed now, the courthouse. All right, let's take that call here. Hello?
Pleasant morning to you.
Yeah, hi. Good morning.
Good evening.
Yeah, go ahead. Uh-huh.
Yes. Yeah, I recently come out to Carriacou.
All right.
From Wednesday I came down. I went to the seller Eric funeral in Harveyville there.
All right.
Yes. Carriacou build back. Oh my, I can't even talk about it. Carriacou building back and better. After burial, I go up the week after burial. When I go when Osprey up, and I came down from Osprey on the pier in Carriacou in Harveyville. Oh Lord, I asking the bus driver, I say, where the road full and stay. When he start to laugh. One of them say, Just watch where the bus turn heading for. You will see the road for Leicester. When I meet up in Leicester, oh Lord, it was terrible. It was terrible. But thank God, we're building back and we're building back better. Praise God.
Yeah, thank you very much. Wonderful. Yes. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much there, Nenny. And you know, Nenny, she been there. She said only recently. All right. And she been there after the hurricane affected the people in Carriacou. I mean, I know her family and everybody there up in Carriacou. So, you know, at the end of it all, if you go to Carriacou or if you've been to Carriacou just after Hurricane Beryl and you go to Carriacou now and you see the progress they made and where they are now, you must feel proud. Forget the politics. Forget what the NNP telling you. Go in Carriacou and you would see. And you see, some people believe, right, that this thing could just be fixed overnight. Good morning. Hello? Hello? All right. Hello? Hello? All right. So maybe, right, someone is trying to call. All right. Again, the number is 415-4817, 415-4817, or 403. All right. Let me just see something here. So let me just signal. The issue of signal. All right. Just the issue of signal. Hello?
Hey, morning, Kim.
Hey, morning.
Yeah, I'm from Chicago.
All right.
Yeah, and when the hurricane struck, it was like a nuclear bomb that exploded over Chicago. Debris and wire and galvanized and everything everywhere. You couldn't pass for days in the street. And as the guy said, they keep after 4 days, they was in Chicago and work started. And as a matter of fact, things has progressed so good in Carriacou that the people from St. Vincent came down to look at what we are doing.
Yeah, because I remember some ministers and so on came down there to look at the progress in Carriacou.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, that's true.
So as a matter of fact, them take a page from us.
Yeah.
And you see, and look, almost 1 year after burial, the guy is in St. Vincent in Union Island now. And them came at the refurbishment or the build back the post office, the ministry, the schools, and they did a lot of work. And as a matter of fact, we started looking better than how we hoped because when we didn't have lights from Boseju to Mount Royal, we have lights now.
Yes, that's solar lights and so on because I mean Carriacou is lit. Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, it was a sea of blue you were seeing, but no, you could check them on your fingers. The remaining building without roof and have tarpaulin. And what some people don't know, on the mix, a lot of the houses have been abandoned in Carriacou, you know.
Yeah, because people die, and some of them overseas.
Yeah, and they're not coming back. The children not interested in Carriacou, so some of them would remain just like that. Some people are looking for sale for this property.
Right.
So we have come a long way. Don't bother with these people and everybody a particular platform, spreading rumors and propaganda. We just whisper what they want.
Yeah.
By saying negative things, they will be back in the government. But it would happen. The people of Carriacou know what's happening, and we're on the ground, and we see the tremendous progress, and nobody's been left behind, as Tevin said.
Yeah, and tell me about the businesses like the supermarkets and the restaurants and they're back up and running. Most of them.
Most of them is back up and running. Most of them.
Right.
Is back up and running.
Because that's important in terms of people getting their work back and so on.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, one of our problems is that we don't have enough labor force because for me, I had my spouting and thing to put up, and I just can't find anybody.
Right.
To put it up,
Okay.
As one of the guys say, work's piling in here. We have a lot of young guys from on the mainland come up and get work, man, because people willing to pay.
Mm-hmm.
But the labor force is just not there, so that's one of our constraint.
All right.
And we're looking good.
Yeah, one love. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so that's a gentleman from Karakou, living in Karakou. All right, and that's what you want to hear. People from Karakou. Because the Karaks, they don't lie. They don't lie like this. I listen to Nolan Cox, and because he's in the politics, he would misinform the public and say all these kind of stuff. He's in politics. He wants to get into office. He was badly beaten by the Honorable Andy Williams. Would I call that just beaten? He got a good flogging politically, a serious flogging with the Shakespeare bull, the bull that they normally use for the Shakespeare mass in Karakou. He got a good cut skin. He can't recover from that. So he's back up in Karakou. But to spread misinformation, all these lies and so on, that would not get you anywhere, because the people are seeing, the people are experiencing what the government is doing for Karakou and PT Martinique. You see? The people are not stupid. And they know everything cannot be done overnight. That is why the people of Union Island is still fighting to recover after all these months. And Karakou and PT Martinique is way more advanced. And in the coming months, you would see the amount of work that the government will do for the people of Karakou and PT Martinique. All right? Yeah, so I think it's like this, the Shakespeare Mass. If you don't know the quote or the verse, something like that, right? The Shakespeare verse, you get in the blues, and he got some real cut tail. He was stripped naked. So he's up in Karakou, and Tevin, I know you're very good at the Shakespeare Mass. So prepare yourself. Come the next election, he may get even worse, because he go in actually where the bull falling on your back, right? So again, if you in Karakou, you in PT Martinique, and you want to call, you free. Or maybe you've been to Karakou, you've been to PT Martinique, and you see for yourself the progress they are making. You see, and you can call, right? 415-4817, 415-4817, or 403-1019. I'm so not accustomed to calling these numbers. All right. I'm saying all this, folks, to say to you that the NNP, they've always been negative. Every time they get a mic or a platform to talk, all they can talk about is bad things. But a responsible opposition will highlight the good things that the government is doing, those that they can commend and applaud. And then they can look at the bad things, or look at things that they think can be improved, can be enhanced, right? Give recommendations or make recommendations and suggestions. Put on the table ideas, because you want a better Grenada. That is what should happen. We are in 2025. It is no longer a period of negativity, right? Negativity will not stand in this day and age. It's just not going to. So it is important to be objective. Very important to be objective. So again, folks, I am happy for the technology, visual aid, the videos and so on, photos, and you can kind of put it out there so people can see. A man could talk, In days of old, the politician would just talk. But now, when you go to meetings, you have to put evidence out there. Hello?
Kim Jones.
Hey.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Okay, thank you. I hope you recognize the voice.
All right. Go ahead. Yes, I do.
Well, I must tell you that as someone who boasts the best Carriacou resume, 70 plus odd years of that, I could tell you that Carriacou has never had it better. And the attention paid to Carriacou by this current administration is unprecedented. Second to that was H.A. Blaze, but he didn't have the resources. So we have to give it to Deacon Mitchell, his cabinet, of course, Kevin Andrew included. They did a humongous job on Carriacou. Carriacou is way, way ahead of what it was, say, 8 months ago. So we can ask for better.
Beautiful.
Those who are talking about the trivial things, as for example, the debris in the recreation ground, that's nonsense. That is nonsense. We're fortunate that I'm saying to you that the one thing Beryl did us, which is good, it came when we had a good administration in office. So, if was your administration, we'll be sitting with all our clothes down, not just our pants down, all our clothes down. Carriacou is on the way up. And to this, I'm saying to my fellow Carriacouans, wherever you are, those who've left temporarily or not, come home now. Otherwise, when you get yourself, Carriacou will be gone to those who could appreciate what a paradise we have. So make that effort. Come back home and join the rebuilding of Carriacou. It's good and it's getting better every day. So don't mind the noise in the market. We have nothing to talk about.
Beautiful.
Carriacou is Carriacou and it's getting much better by the day. And that is coming from a bona fide guy, okay?
Yeah.
One the horse's mouth.
Beautiful.
Have a good day, sir.
Nice.
Bye-bye.
Yes, well, by now, folks, you know the voice. That's Mr. Leo Joseph, right? He is a man on the ground. In fact, I saw him at the funeral. I follow online keenly at, I think it's Eric, the person who passed away there. Boy, you all give him a really good send-off. That is a send-off of a lifetime, right? It was a send-off. And, Leo, he will not miss that for nothing. He's deeply rooted in Carriacou. He is a kayak, a real bona fide kayak, right? Leo Joseph and the team. And he's doing a fantastic job every Thursday. Kim the King, Leo, Coy, and the whole team educating, empowering, enlightening people on what's taking place in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. I just love that. These are people who are going to die for Carriacou and Petit Martinique. All right? And if they tell you that things are looking up, things are good in Carriacou, believe them. They're not making this thing up. He's a businessman. He has investments in Carriacou. And not no legal investment. So he's not talking because he wants to talk. He wants good for Carriacou and Petit Martinique. These are genuine campers who want good for Carriacou and Petit. And that's what I love. You see, it don't have to be perfect, but you're striving for perfection. You're working every day to enhance it and build it and make it better. It's easy to just talk and talk and talk and talk. You hear what he said? He said, kayaks, return home and come and build, come and fix, come and make better what you have. All right? That's important. Very, very important. Folks, I want to, on that note, thank you for being a part of the program. I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful weekend. I will be back with you on Sunday, God's willing. And we will continue that journey because we have to disseminate credible information to empower people, to enlighten our people. That's so, so important because the NNP, they're out there on many different platforms, spreading lies, concocting stories, making up stories because they want those who never set foot in Carriacou or Petit Martinique to believe what they're saying. But if we put the evidence out there, the facts out there, then we can debunk and dispel all those lies and rumors. It is so important to put it on the table, the facts, the evidence, because we're in 2025. Everybody has a smartphone or a tablet or some smart TV looking at information, videos and so on, live or not, or live or recorded, of programs and things, and they seeing stuff. They're following what's going on. So you can't fool them with all the lies and all the, you will try. But with this program being here, we're going to expose it. We're going to put the facts on the table because our people need to be in the know. We want our people to be factual or to have the facts, to know the facts, to know what is happening around all of us, around them. Because this place is ours, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique belong to all of us. We have a stake in all of this. So putting the facts on the table is key. Because our people want good for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Don't fool yourself. Our people have moved away from all this lies and negativity and old talk and confusion and back and forth and melee and stupidness. That's Keith Mitchell era. That's NNP era. Keith Mitchell and all of them. With all the bacchanal and all the TB and all the confusion and all the lies and all the negativity. And that's NNP time. That's when they were there and Grenadians moving forward. We don't have time for this stupidness. We're in 2025 and we're moving forward. We're not going backwards. So, folks, I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful weekend. Take good care. And bye for now. Well, today, the police headquarters that will be officially handed over at 4:30. The NDC really doing things, really doing things. Because I remember, before wrapping up the program, Keith Mitchell promising a police headquarters since in 2018, somewhere thereabout, Police headquarters, prison complex, Governor General residence, a whole list he promised during that time. And that did not materialize. It took the NDC from 2018 to now is how many years? 18 and 2. So that's 20 and 5. It's about 7 years. All right, 7 years on. It took the NDC to come and get that police headquarters for the police force. And not just the police headquarters. The pay and grade that the police officers were clamoring for and fighting for since 1994, 1995 down this way, Yeah. So that they would have a better salary. The NDC, after almost 30 years, NNP being there, the NDC came and gave them their pay and grade. And then you have the St. Paul's police station right here, not far from where I live. They fixed that, right? The Hillsborough police station, they fixed that. The Grove police station, they fixed that. The Grenville police station, they're about to fix that. The Central police station, they fixing that. And other little police stations, they're doing work there. So a lot is being done for the police in terms of security. And the police, they're doing an exceptional job, a very good job. Kudos to Commissioner Randy Connaught. He's doing a fantastic job. His leadership is second to none. I mean, I love to see what he's doing with the police force, where police is going into the community and interacting with the people in the community and building relationships within the community. Kudos to him and his team. That is what you want. You want a police force that's not just reactive, but proactive, coming up with ways and methods and techniques and, to get intelligence to prevent crime, not just go and get the criminals when the crime happens, preventing it before it happens. That's what it is. But folks, I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day. Take good care and bye for now.